Alright, so these are super easy little kits to use. They really are. Each one is the same, other than the fact that this one has a waterproof housing or case for it. So if you're going to be doing something wet, this one would be the one to sign out, where this one does not have that. But each one has...
What do you mean by wet? How wet can it get?
Pretty wet. Pretty wet. I would say a pool wet, 10 feet wet. I wouldn't push it wet, but yes, pretty wet. So in this kit, we have the camera itself. We have this cable, which will allow HDMI out from the camera to the monitor, which will allow you, if you had an external monitor, you could see what was going on. I'm going to use that today just because the screen on it is pretty small. So to get an idea, we'll have that. Each one comes with a waterproof case that has the memory cards in them. So in here is an SD card. The camera itself takes micro SD cards. This is an adapter. So the micro card goes in there, and we'll get into that more. And then that could go in a computer to download the files. If the computer didn't have a card reader, we have a card reader that can hook up to your computer via SD cable. And then you'd be able to put the card in that, and the computer would see it. This is for charging the camera itself, because it has an internal battery. The battery in this is non-removable, so it has to be charged from your computer or to the wall like your phone. Same way. The last piece would be, if you wanted to charge in the car, you can charge in the car. So this kit is exactly the same. Oh, and then also a monopod. So that would be that kit right there.
Can you explain about a monopod, how that works?
Yep,
Basics?
we'll get there.
Okay.
But the monopod, obviously a lot easier to use than a tripod because, well, it's got one leg, so it's smaller and easier.
Unless you tie three of them together, make your own tripod.
You could make your own tripod.
No,
but
they have monopods that have little feet.
Yes, they do, little
And
spread outs.
actually,
Yep.
it's much more handy sometimes.
And these come with a rubber tip for indoor use, but in the kit there is also, this unscrews, and there would be a little metal spike. So if you were somewhere where the rubber tip wasn't, I mean the rubber tip, in my opinion, is going to be fine most of the time, but if you were in a very slippery or a very rugged condition, I guess you could put the metal tip on. And monopods, I mean, a lot less weight than a tripod, makes a handy walking stick, and you can pivot and pan pretty well here. You could even do a little tilt. So if you were doing parade or if you were doing meeting or some sort of event, not a bad way to go. It's a lot less tiring than standing hold.
And the camera fits up on top?
Yes, that's another part. The nice part about this is that these camera rigs have come with adapters so that we can use a 1/4 You can use a standard tripod or monopod with these cameras. So this one, like I said, is exactly the same, other than the fact that it's in this handy waterproof case. So that one will be able to do everything that one does, but you could get it wet. So what I'm going to show you is, we'll turn them on, but first, each has, there's really simple. The battery's non-removable, so you'll never want to go in there. And on this side, if you guys want to pass it around, next to the charger and the HDMI out that's where the micro SD card goes. And if you push that with your thumbnail, it'll pop out, and you give it a little click in, and it'll want to click itself out. There you go. So from there, that's how you would now give your file. Yeah.
How much are converters for the mini SD?
Oh, to do this? Well, this is included in the kit if you loan it, if you rent it out. But a micro SD card with an adapter, $12, $18, depending on the size of the memory. But they almost always come with one of these because natively the only thing that would use such a small card would be a camera like this or a cell phone. So they always sell them with an adapter because if your computer's not going to have a tiny little slot like that. So that would be the thinking.
So you put that into the adapter?
Yep.
And that's what goes into the computer?
Yep, exactly. So just the same way, see there it is right there.
Mm-hmm.
So just the same way that went in, you took it out of the camera, you put it in there, now you're ready to put it in your computer Or if your computer doesn't have a slot like this, you're ready to put it in here, and then USB to your computer. So that's...
Where's the button on the side?
That would be for menus, and we'll show you the
Okay.
menus there. But really, to make things simple, in using this, this works the best when you don't do anything but turn it on and hit record. The menus are there, but they're all things that you wouldn't want to turn off anyway. Auto white balance, there's really no need to turn that off. Auto exposure, no need to turn it off. Not shoot in HD, why wouldn't you want to shoot in HD? So the menus are there. I would recommend, but if you want to play with it, by all means, but really the best thing, in my opinion, is to turn it on and start shooting and get some footage. By itself, it will not fit on the monopod, but let's see. Once you put it on here, it now has threads on the bottom so that you can...
That looks so weird. The monopod's bigger than the camera.
There you go. So you would be fine at any event. Super light. Again, use it as a walking stick if you needed to, or fight somebody off, and you're ready to go. The waterproof version would be the same. By itself, outside of the case, it can't mount to anything, but as long as it's in its case, it has this, so the same thing. It just screws right on the top. And to get this out of this case, it's a little bit of a bear. There's an arrow showing you, and I'll pass this around. And then you got to let it pop up. So you pull this little button, and it pops up. Once it pops up, now you can get the camera out if you want. Take a look at that.
Do you see any reason for, well, a lot of tripods have the quick release.
Like a plate?
Yeah. Right.
Yes. In this
I can't
case,
see any reason to use that either.
no, if you wanted to, you could take this whole head off, but it's directly mounted to it, so it would be faster, easier just to unscrew the camera from it. The other nice thing about this is if you wanted to make the camera fly, now you totally can. So, if people are, if you're 3-4 people back in a line or somewhere or at an event, I don't have enough room here, but I could probably go, 10 feet up? At least 12, 13 with my arms.
It's a wide angle lens on the camera.
Yes, and I'll show you the view on it. It is wide. They've gotten better about, the early ones were very fisheye. They were almost to the point of it was only good if you were doing a skateboard video or surf video because they were so, they've managed to make the shot wide without being so curved or so distorted.
It's a fixed lens, there's no adjustment.
There's no adjustment to do. Autofocus, auto exposure, auto everything, no zoom, fixed focal length, everything's completely fixed on this.
So can you give us examples of where would you use this? Because it's not that flexible like a regular camera. So can you give us examples of where we could shoot with this?
I think it's almost more flexible in the fact that everything's automatic. And it does a good job being automatic. So I would use it anywhere as you wanted to use a big camera.
But you
don't
couldn't
want to
zoom
have
in
to.
and out.
But you can zoom in and out. That you cannot do. So what it forces or lends itself to is a different style of shooting. So if you want to get closer, you're going to need to get closer. If you want up here, you're going to. So it's not better or worse. It's just a different way of doing it.
So it's good for landscaping?
This would be great for
hiking?
parades, it would be good for hiking, it would be good for canoeing, kayaking, the waterproof one especially, obviously. But,
Or rugged environment.
a rugged environment.
Yeah.
But you know what? You could use this in a non-rugged environment too, because the landscape has changed, with YouTube and the way people do things and movies being shot on phones. So I wouldn't be afraid to use this for just about any application, really. There's really no reason. If you were doing a multi-camera shoot and you zoom in and all that, well then you're going to have that gear. But if you want something that you can come over, sign it out from Stacy and walk out with this bag, you can go anywhere and do anything you want, and it's easy. That's really the best part about this. So to turn it on, it's got a button in the front, big power button, and you just push it. And it says welcome. And at that point, really, hitting OK on top starts recording. And you've
That's all you
mastered.
need?
Yep, you've mastered using it. You've turned it on right here, you've hit OK, and it's recording. And that is...
I better write this down.
Press OK.
Those are 2 steps there. Press OK. So... So as you can see, the screen is pretty small, but you're going to have to trust that you're using your point of view, your perspective, so wherever you have the camera, that's what it's seeing. That will give you an idea, and you can get an idea of their, how wide the angle is. And what I'm going to do is hook it up to this external, and we'll have a little better idea of what's going on.
Meanwhile, there's some literature here that this, if you pass one around, this is what the kit includes, which he went through. And this is a quick
Is the
little
external monitor part of the...
fact sheet that Nigel put
It is
together,
not.
so you know pros
But
and
I
cons.
would, this is mine, but I would, being a part of TV23, I'm sure it wouldn't be a bad idea to get these, and I'm sure we could get them very reasonably. So in the future, it may become a part of the kit, or available if needed or wanted.
What's that monitor called again?
This is just an external field monitor.
Okay. Is it not Delcam or anything?
Yes, it would be a Delphi. It would be. And this would run either on battery pack or dedicated wall power.
How much does something like that cost? Ballpark.
Ballpark, $150.
For what?
For the
External monitor. I was just watching somebody shoot a movie with using that external monitor, using like a Canon camera.
Yes. And the idea being is that you're going to, obviously, instead of looking at this little tiny screen,
Right.
you're looking at something larger.
So how would you mount that to your tripod?
Well, that's the thing. I brought it today more to just show, so we wouldn't have to all look through the tiny screen here, just to get an idea of the field of view of the camera. That complicates your rig, obviously, because this whole thing has been about simplicity, how simple the monopod is and how simple the mount is and how simple it is to just push power and OK in your recording. All of a sudden, if you add peripherals, you got more to worry about, more to carry around, more to do. If I was doing something fixed, a meeting or something like that, maybe I would use something like this because I'm not worried about carrying it around with me or where it's going. I've got the camera set up and then we're in one place.
So that records sound also.
Yes, it does. And there's no ability to hook up for external mics or anything like that. So whatever the camera picks up on its own, it'll pick up on
Where's
its
the
own.
microphone?
You know, I knew you were going to ask that as soon as you said that. It appears to be right there.
On the side.
Yeah. And that's another thing to consider. So that's your field of view there. Pretty good. Not a bad picture.
Well, what might happen is I have an iPad, and I have one of those clamp adapters that you can mount on a tripod.
Okay.
And I'm sure that you could rig it so you could have the monitor and the
Yes.
looking in the very same direction.
Yeah, I'm sure you could, actually.
So that-
And that would just take a little bit of ingenuity. Just figure something out and do it. If you're concerned about the audio, I would not recommend using the plastic housing because, well, now it's inside a plastic housing. So your audio is going to suffer quite a bit. It will still pick up sound in the case, but it's very muffled because the whole purpose of this is to be underwater or wet. So it would be more about the image if you're using the waterproof kit. But again, if this one's signed out and you sign this one out, well, I just took it out of the case and you put the mount on it, and now it goes right back onto the tripod or handheld. The other thing,
What are the depth restrictions for that mount?
I wouldn't push it more than 10, 12 feet. I don't know for a fact what the integrity is, but in using things like this before, unless any of you are PADI certified, anybody going diving or
I did.
yeah, I would snorkel with this, but I wouldn't dive with it. No, I don't. I don't trust that. They also come with random mounts. Now with these, you got to get a little creative. They're not really specific to any one thing. This one appears you could put it on a handlebar on a bike. Looks like it would open up and squeeze on the bar and then attach to the case. These are Velcro or just straps. So again, I don't think they're any real purpose-built ones so much as they're here to give you some ideas. This one locks onto the back of here, and now you have a clip. So if you wanted to clip the camera onto something, you now have the ability to do that. So that's not a bad.
On your hat.
On your hat, exactly. So that's a good one. So with the mounts, you would just have to play with it and, see what happens. See if you want to, if this is going to fit on a pole or, your bike or something else where that makes sense. Clip, hat, or somewhere that makes sense. And then just little straps. Maybe you can rig it up to something. And that's really all there is to it. You're going to record. You're just going to hit OK. And once you hit OK, it's recording. When you're done recording, you hit OK again. And that's really how simple it is.
Now, the date and time stamp, is that being recorded over it too?
No, it is not. That is visual on the screen,
Okay.
but it's not going on the video. And you could turn that off in the menus if you wanted to,
Okay.
but really, after I went through the menus again last night, there's really no reason to change anything. Turn it on, hit record, and that's really all there is to it. When you're done, you hit power again, and hopefully it turns off. Yep, and then it tells you goodbye.
How do we erase footage after we're done and we download it to our computer? How do we
Sure.
erase on them? Can you show us where in
Yep.
the menu?
On the menu here, there is a menu to format the card. Now, you can do it two different ways. You can take the card out. So again, you're just going to take your fingernail, and you're going to pop it out. It's then going to go either in the adapter, or it's going to go in the adapter, and then either into the card reader or directly to the computer if you have a card slot. From there, I don't have a laptop or computer with me, but just like any file you've opened up or any SD card you've put in or thumb drive, you're going to navigate to it, you're going to see the files, you're going to drag them. It records in MP4. So Apple or Mac or Windows is going to be fine with playing these files. Either Windows Media Player is going to do it or QuickTime is going to do it, but that's not an issue.
Can you change the resolution?
Well, the resolution right now is 1920 by 1080, so it's regular high definition. If you wanted to shoot in a different resolution, by all means, you could change that setting in the camera. I don't see a need to ever shoot in a lower, because from full high definition, I can always go smaller later on my computer. I can never go back up again. I'm not too concerned about storage space either. These are 32 gig cards. If you really think that you're going to need to get more out of it, you could go to standard definition or a lower definition, and your recording time would increase. But each kit comes with 2 cards, so you've got 64 gigs of recording time.
What's the recording time on
I don't know, to be honest with you. It's probably in the book. It probably does tell you what that equals. I don't know off the top of my head what that would be, but I would think with this little camera and 64 gigs would be a lot. It would be quite a bit. And the book is helpful, again, showing you, obviously, everything we've talked about is in the book.
You know the runtime on the battery?
I don't know the runtime of the battery either. Let's see if it says either of those things. If I can find English, I'll be all set. Says here that the battery will last a constant 70 minutes of recording. It does not say at the format how much you can fit on there. So I don't know how much will fit on the card, but it says that the battery will last you 70 minutes of straight use.
Is there a pause, or do you have to shut down from...
You have to stop recording.
You have to
So
stop
what's going to happen is when you mount that card to your computer, you look at the folder, there's going to be a file for every time you started. So if you stop and start 10 times, there's going to be 9 different files or whatever.
Now, you say this is an HD. Can it be switchable to SD?
It
Or-
can be switchable to SD.
So you get more time.
You would get more time that way, and if you wanted to do that, you could. And you would do that by turning it on. Welcome. And then oh, it's mad at me because... Okay, so what you'll do, I'm going to come around this side,
You go to anyway.
is once it's on, you push the mode button. This is the power button that you held on to turn it on. It's the power button that you held to turn it off. But if you just push it, it brings up the menu. And now you have a menu of resolution, whether you want HDR, motion detection, all these things. What you can do is you use the side buttons here, and now you can go down. So here's your audio settings, whether you want a date stamp on it, your capture mode, your image size. So the quality, sharpness, white balance, again, ISO, color, exposure. I would recommend leaving it default, but if you wanted to, by all means, here's where you would go in and you could change your resolution.
Does it default to a certain aspect ratio?
Yes, it's going to default to, I would say 16 by 9-ish. It's 1080p. So that's going to be your default resolution. However, just like I showed, by pushing this, this brings you into a menu, and you can go right through it. And don't be afraid to play with it.
And how do you get to the menu? Must be set on the top.
Yep. So what you're going to do is this front button. This is the power button that you
Right.
use. You hold it on
Mhm.
or hold it to turn it off. But if you just tap on it, it's going to yell at you that there's no card. But then after that, okay, so you have to tap twice. And then it comes to your menu. To pick it, hit OK. Whatever one you want, hit OK,
Right.
and then you'll have more. If you don't want what you shot, then when you're done, you're going to find within this a format. And if you want to wipe that card out, it's going to wipe it out and hope you don't want it because it's going to be gone. So once you go to format right there and hit OK, it's going to ask you if you're sure about that.
Mhm.
And if you're sure about that, it's going to erase the card. You could also erase the card right from your computer. Once you have it out of the camera and it's in the computer,
That's how I do it.
you can just do it from there. Stacy will want to format this card when she gets it back from anybody that signs it out, and it's best to format cards in the device that's using it. So while you can delete the files on your computer, you wouldn't want to format it on your computer. The device that's actually doing the recording should be the one that's doing the formatting to avoid any issues.
Yeah.
So that's.
Can you hook that up to that big monitor so you could see how you did change the SD to HD?
You know, I don't know if it's
You
going to
can't-
show menu. I don't know. We can see if it'll do that or not.
Did you mention there's motion sensitivity?
There was on here.
It's motion activated?
That was new to me to see that.
Okay.
So I don't know what it would do, but you know what? That is a great point to, or a great reason to just play with it.
Yeah.
See what it does.
I think they could use
The
it.
nice thing about it is only like 2 buttons, so you just push it until you figure it out. It's not like a lot
Yes.
of buttons and nowhere to go.
So motion, you can get that bear that's been troubling.
The other thing is it won't explode no matter what. So the worst that you can do is get frustrated and turn it off. And try.
Explode?
It will not explode. I'm saying you can play
Has
with
it
it.
has it exploded in the past? I mean, other.
All previous models,
Come on, don't say that. We're gonna need insurance.
So let's see.
John, you're such a kidder.
It has a ring on the top.
So yes, Stacy, it will show the menus.
Oh, great, perfect. So can you aim it this way and then do the same? Just put it down. I could zoom in. This way, people who didn't come to the class, they could kind of take a look at it.
Maybe that'll
Oh,
hold it.
perfect.
That's the
Ah,
problem.
sorry.
Oh, okay.
Insurance.
There you
Hope
go.
it didn't break. Okay.
All right. So as you can see, you can now cycle through resolution. There's buttons right on the side, and I just go down, and you play with it. See if you want to change. Here's image size, so I'm going to hit OK. And now here, I've got 4032 by 3024, and that's at 12 megs. So yeah, if you want to save space, you could go down to 10, 8, 5, and all of a sudden you're saving space. 3. Now you're down to VGA, so that's 640 by 480. That's like 1995 Windows video. You don't want to do that.
You can't do stills either.
It can do stills.
Okay.
Yep, it can do stills. We can get to that as well. It will do stills.
Is there a reset setting if we want to just put them all back to defaults?
Yes, there is. So what you can do is, I'm going to leave this menu. 2 clicks should bring me into the menu again. Yep, 2 clicks brings you in. 2 clicks of the same button that you used to turn it on and off brings it into the menu. If you want, if you've played with it and now all of a sudden you don't know where you're at, you can go to plenty of options here, huh? You can go to default settings. You can go to default settings. So once I go to, so now I've changed my resolution, I've changed it to HDR, I've changed it to look for faces, and I don't know what the heck's going on anymore. So then I can just navigate to that and hit OK. And it's going to say, you sure you want to do that? Oh, yeah, I want to do that. And I'm going to hit OK again. And now it's all back to the way it was when you started. So
I
that's...
notice there's a car mode in there. When you use the thing for the car, is there a special setting you have to do for that?
No.
Because I saw it says car.
It does say car mode. The car adapter is for charging. The camera doesn't care if it's being charged from the wall, from your computer, or from your car. I assume car mode has something to do with stability or image stability for moving. And to be fair to us all, this manual tells you just about nothing. So
Unless
there's
you're Chinese.
even I think even if it shows you where the buttons are and a couple of other things, but it's I think you'd be better off with a little exploration of your own.
So you have the power cable plugged in and you're not running off the battery, right?
Right now, it's still running off battery. Because if you do.
If you do.
Yes.
Right.
Yep. You could do that if you were going to be in a fixed setting. If the battery wasn't charged or you're concerned about it being longer than 70 minutes, but you had enough time, sure, you could go right to the monopod, and if you had power close by, you could run. That would be the other one right here. So it comes with this mini HDMI cable. So if you don't have this, you could plug this into your TV.
Okay.
Just putting that out there. If you want to play with the menus or get used to it and not have to be here, you could plug this in, plug it into your TV, choose whatever input you just plugged that cable into, and now you're doing the same. This will just be on your television, which might be helpful in that case. So I was happy to see that. The earlier ones didn't have live view HDMI out. They would play things you've already recorded to the TV, but it wouldn't let you see it in real time. So that is helpful, especially with something so small. And there is a photo mode as well.
So you could also run that from an external power pack, too.
You could. You know what? Anything, if you have one of those, like a battery cell that you would use for a cell phone or something, absolutely. Because it's got USB and mini USB. So they'd be exactly the same as running your iPad or whatever else off a battery bank. You're absolutely right. And like I said, each one comes with 2 cards and the reader. So you would mount it to your computer, drag them off, and if you want to delete the stuff, delete the stuff. If not, Stacy's just going to format the card when she gets it back from sign out. So it'll be blown away whether you do it or Stacy does
What's
it.
the basic package for, let's say, non-underwater?
That would be the first package here. They're exactly the same other than the fact that this one comes with it.
And how much does that cost?
I don't know what they cost because they're free. All you got to do is sign it out. Why own it? It's like the library. You don't have to own it. You just come here and get it. So yes, those are all the components. I don't know if you guys... Oh, we'll go over photo too.
Yeah.
And I'll be completely honest with you. There's a million options on here, and
A little bit this way.
I don't know what they do, a lot of them. And that would be just coming from experience, just playing with it and see what it does. And that's another reason I used this a few times. I used it just default out of the box, hit on, hit OK, and they came out great. So that's my feeling is less is more. But if you want to play with it and see what it does, then you can do that.
Have you tried night mode with it at all?
I have not. I have not. I imagine that the low light capabilities aren't that good, but that would be a good thing to try. You know. Hey Matt, can you turn the lights off? See if I can get out of here. All right, so there's your low light capabilities. So.
Very low light.
Very low. Yes. This is not meant for.
It ain't a Google Pixel.
No, and this isn't for surveillance either, as you can see. So that would not be. Thanks, man. Low light is not your friend on this one. To take stills. Do I remember how to take stills? I do not. Let's see.
It's back on record, I think.
Okay, so it's recording. Yeah, I don't know how to
Well,
take
just look at
stills.
the manual, see if it says
Yeah.
still photography.
See, now here you have an icon showing you that it's shooting video. So I assume that, yes, going into the menu again,
If you hit the OK button, will it take a picture while it's recording?
it doesn't appear to.
Okay.
So let's see what the, now that appears, okay, so the reason it's a no card in it. So what I did is, I'll show you what happened there.
You have to be careful with those cards, because I've got one stuck in one of my equipment.
Oh, do you?
And I can't get it out.
Now I can see how it could happen, because this one's,
Don't drop it on the floor, man. It'll be worse than a guitar pick trying to find something. It's the best camouflage there is.
I also wonder how many of these get swallowed, you know, because it's pretty small. Okay. Okay. So this is also, it's the power on when you hold it, it's the power off when you hold it, it's the two-click to go to your menu, but also by clicking it once and clicking it again, the icon up here changed from the video camera to a still camera. Now every time I hit OK, I'm taking a picture. And you can see by the way that it reacted that it's showing you that you're taking a picture. The fact that, like a SLR, like a shutter going off, that it went black for a second and then comes back to the action. So you've got the camera icon on
Can
there.
you do that while you're filming?
No, you got to do one or the other.
Oh, okay.
One or the other. So you're either shooting video or you're shooting stills. At this resolution, if you really wanted to make a still from video, you could. After the fact, you could, or Stacy could, or with help someone, you could definitely grab stills at the quality of this in video mode is good enough to pull a still out. I don't know if it would be magazine quality or reproductive like that, but it would definitely be all right for web use or for a computer screen or for something like that. So then to get back out of the mode, and then you're back. So really, it all comes down to it. There's only two buttons. The one that turns on and off is also the one, if you keep clicking it, is going to bring you into video mode, photo mode, into all the menus, into playback mode. The up and down, once you have choices, that's where your up and down comes into play. And to your enter or your select is okay every time. So up, oh, that's the one I want, okay. 1080p, 640 by 40. Oh, I want that. Okay. Time to get out of all of that. Mode, and leave that. So there's really, there's 4 buttons. And if you want to just get to the action, it's going to be hold this on and hit OK and go. If you guys want to try mounting it to a monopod or anything like that, here, I'll use the shorter one. What you'll need, again, on their own, they don't have any ability. There's no mounting points. But once you add either the waterproof case or this case.
In this case, you have in here wouldn't interfere with the sound at all.
This one, no, this one does not because the mic's here.
Okay.
This one is okay. You know what, though? Can't use the case that way. Because what you'll find out is this thing fits on anyway, but the way I just put it on, I couldn't push the record button or the OK button. So, but you'd find that out quite quickly because now you can push the record button. So,
It's pretty simple.
it's super, super simple. So if you want to try, that just threads right on there now that you have that. And if you want to try recording or doing anything, that has a card in
Is
it.
the lens glass or plastic?
I assume that is some kind of high impact plastic, or at least the outside is, and then underneath might be a lens of glass of some
So I
sort.
could,
But
lens cleaner is good?
well, we have in each kit comes with that one does anyway. One of these little micro cloths, and I would recommend using that. I wouldn't use any kind of cleaner chemical. It's just a little breath of hot air and a little rub with this, and you're going to be in good shape. If it really was that dirty, these kits have it? No, they do not. You could use lens cleaner, but it's never going to be to the point, again, a little breath of hot air on there and rub it with the soft
What's
cloth.
interesting is the way you have this set up, the image comes in upside down.
Okay, so the camera knows whether it's upside down or not. In the menu, you can reverse image. So you just would thread it in the other way. See the threads on the other side?
Oh, you could flip it.
Upside down.
So the camera's upside down. If you needed the camera to be upside down, you can go into the menu and say, you're upside down, but I want you to shoot
What's in
right
South
side up.
America?
Exactly. Exactly. See now, but if you mount it that way, you're going to be right side up.
Oh, I see, you can do it either way.
Yep, the mounts are there. So for flexibility, or maybe you don't care if it's upside down, because in post, when you give it to Stacy or when you go back to your own computer, you can just flip it over. You know, it doesn't care that it's upside down. You know.
Is there a stabilization sticks or anything like that?
There is, this is, as you see it, like I had it, and it does pretty well. There is, in the camera settings itself, it has stabilization.
Yeah, it says anti-shake. I think, or
Yes,
something.
it defaults to on. I don't know to what extent, I don't know how well it works, but in the test footage I shot, it was fine. It wasn't shaky. I held it this way for a little while and got some shots, and then I also did the monopod for a while. And in both cases, it was fine. And yes, so each one will come with an SD card in it, as well as the adapter with another SD card in it in this little Pelican case. So you have plenty of shooting time. There's really 70 minutes of battery, 64 gigs of storage space. You could keep unloading cards and put them back in if you wanted for even more. You could plug this into the wall if you're not moving around. So you could shoot pretty much indefinitely.
How long did it take to recharge?
Use the top button, it takes a
I
picture
think it takes
while filming.
I think it takes 3 hours to charge from completely dead. Yes, 3 hours
Turn
from
that off.
Try the top button on it. It'll actually take a still while you're filming. Hit the shutter.
Oh, well, it's video?
Oh, it does. It does. Okay. So you don't have to change mode. Well, you're in photo mode, though.
Oh.
That's why.
Try it in video mode.
Well, that's just going to stop it from... Okay, so now, and I'll let you guys do this, just run through the modes. But right now I'm in video mode. If I hit OK,
Oh, that's
I'm
it.
just
It
recording.
stops the footage. Got it.
that's
You
done.
can change the modes in the menu.
You can change, nope, you can, yep, by double-clicking this, so check
Oh.
that out. When you're, right now, if you look on that screen, you can see the little video icon. If you click the mode button in the front, you're going to see that icon change to a camera.
Double-clicking it?
Yep. And then you'll see it change to a playback, and then you'll see it change to that gray menu we were in, where you can
Okay.
change all the settings. Everything you're going to want to do, you can change from video to still to menu to playback, all with that front button. And you confirm each thing with your OK up top. So if you take a look, you'll go right through them.
I'm trying to see where you would use this more than a regular camera.
Well, if you wanted to go for a bike ride and you wanted to have that along, then this is a perfect way to do it. If you wanted to just do a man on the street around town type thing and talk to people, it'd be from you be getting your perspective. The viewer would see it as you saw it. So if I was talking to you, they would see as I see you. So I could see it'd be interesting to walk around town that way. Anywhere's where it's little and you want to be creative. You know, I was saying before, I saw a guy that, I don't recommend it with this one, but had put it in his dishwasher and watched it go through the whole cycle in the dishwasher. I think it was cool. I want to put it in my aquarium. I'd like to drop it in the aquarium and let it shoot the fish for a while. I think that would be a good idea.
That way you can get rid of the aquarium, just play the video.
Exactly.
And Brian, when you go motoring down to
Yeah,
the city,
yeah.
you know, just
So,
landscape.
you know, I would not be afraid to just use it. You know, they're not indestructible, but it's just a little solid state cube. You know, it's really not a, you know, you can't be too rough with it, but on the other hand, it's not exactly fragile either. And it's tiny is the best
How
part.
sensitive is the microphone when you were playing with it?
You know, we'd have to record and play it back. Let's see what the sensitivity is.
This is particularly popular with zip liners
Yes.
Oh, that's a
and
good idea.
adventure people.
Yeah.
You know.
Now even
Drones.
some clothesliners, people hanging the laundry out using it
And you could put this on a drone also.
too.
Right?
Yeah.
Hot air ballooning,
Could you?
skiing.
Sure.
Yeah, as long as you had it securely mounted somehow, as long as you figured something out, by all means.
Well, the problem with the drone though is you've got no feed to your
You would
phone.
just have to see what you got when you got back.
Yeah, you're just guessing at that point.
There were Wi-Fi settings in there. It's possible you could connect to it.
Oh, there is a Wi-Fi.
There is a
setting.
Wi-Fi setting. I have not used it, but there is, yes.
So you might be able to do it to your phone.
I think the Wi-Fi on this is more for transfer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a section about your phone.
Yeah.
Does Mike Nelson use the drone the camera for his?
No.
So they'll feed your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you, because you
Has
have to have
bar
the
and
monitors,
everything.
you know, what you're pointing at.
I think the drone he has a mounted camera on it. or whatever
Right.
it is.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Mike Nelson.
Oh, yeah.
They all do now.
Yeah.
All right, so these are stills. We're not going to get any audio from that.
Is there a speaker in there for playback if you want to?
That's what I'm going to find out right now.
So many features for such a small thing, right?
I know, right?
Is there a speaker in your monitor?
Yes, this does have audio. Let's see what that does. Okay, that's a very short movie. That's a still. That's a still. That's a still. That's a still. 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 Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to the menu. Audio. Audio is on. Good. So I'm going to go back out to the main menu. And I'm going to shoot some video. know what? That's very interesting. All right, so we're shooting video and we're talking. Everybody talking?
Hello.
You want us all to sing a song?
All right. What do you know?
I had a dog and his name was Blue.
All right, so we'll see what kind of audio we
Let's
get.
say, Stacy, you say something, see if it picks up what you want.
No. Hi.
You don't want to sing a song?
No.
And that was actually-
I'll go flat. You
That's
don't
not
want me
bad
to
for being
sing.
unscripted.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Something Greek, perhaps.
Nevikasti pipirjana kopsomja piperike I seratsakisti keke mukopse to heri dosumuto mandila kisu. It's a kid's song. It's okay.
That's okay, it's Greek to me.
Well, seems here like we don't have audio. And it's either because this doesn't...
Put the volume all the way up.
There's no audio playback capability on the device itself, right?
No, you got to plug it into something.
On this headphone out.
There's a headphone out on here, yes. And to be honest with you, this has, I don't know if this, I haven't used it with audio. I've used it for just confidence monitoring.
Can you do a monitor as you're shooting with the headphones?
I assume you could. Yeah, I assume you could. I want to see if this will play back our... Yeah, so there's your audio playing back on there. So you're not going to be able, you're going to have to bring that to your computer.
You can hear it.
You can hear it? You can hear
You
it?
can hear it, but it's got a tiny, tiny
Or headphones?
Pinhead.
Have you got any
It's a little
headphones?
small speaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you would have to, you'd want to bring it into your computer and see what kind of level you got.
I just want to see if you can monitor while you're shooting.
While you're doing it, yep. And then the only way that would be is if the HDMI from here into the monitor and allows for
With the earphones.
with the earphones.
But,
And that may work.
but you can't do that directly off the,
No.
the box
No,
with
you cannot.
headphones
No, you
as a separate one.
No.
It'd be interesting with these new Wi-Fi headphones to be able to do something.
It's true. I believe, well, that would be, this doesn't have Bluetooth, so it wouldn't be able to use Bluetooth or earbuds, but it can do Wi-Fi, but I think the Wi-Fi reason is so that you don't have to use a cord to your computer, that you'd be able to transfer files over Wi-Fi to your computer, but not so much.
Okay, actually, if you turn the Wi-Fi on, it's pick it up on our phone and see if it picks
Well,
up.
your phone would be Bluetooth, unless you turned it into a Wi-Fi hotspot. This is going to be looking for like the town's router or the internet here.
Oh, it doesn't
So-
generate its own Wi-Fi?
It doesn't generate, no, it
Oh.
wants to connect to yours,
Oh, not to generate its own?
not to generate.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. So really, it's for file transfer.
Okay.
That's what its purpose is. And again, I personally, I would just hook the wire up or put the card in.
Yeah,
Why would
yeah.
I bother going? No, it does not output audio this way. So it's either the monitor.
It's just so amazing what software they can
Yeah, really. Really.
Yes, I'm not So this I pulled out of the studio at work. Just grabbed it so that to see if this would work to show you guys. But I'm not getting any audio. You heard it tiny coming out of here.
Yeah.
If we took the card out and put it in a computer,
Yeah.
that's going to be the. And again, I would try that. Stacy, does the computer in the studio or any of them have kind of USB to put the card in?
Yeah, you can, but right now I'm editing, so I don't want it's rendering.
Okay, so that's the only
It's a
one.
2-hour thing, so I don't want to stop it.
No.
All right, so that's how we would find out what we're actually getting. Yeah, but I wouldn't, just because it came out so teeny out of here, I wouldn't assume that that's the quality of it.
Yeah.
I'd assume it's better than that. I had used it in my car driving home, and I could hear the wind of the car, and I could hear the radio playing, and I could hear me yelling at somebody. So I mean, it worked. So that's really what it is to this whole kit. It's each one, like I said, is the same, other than the waterproof aspect. And I would say to just use them. Just use them and see what happens. And maybe not do grandchild birth or special occasion for your first try, and just walk around the yard or do something.
Practice, yeah.
Practice, and then come back to the computer and put it in and see what you got. And then you'll know if it's something that you want to take somewhere and trust that it's going to do what you want it to do. So again, the selling point on this is that it's little and compact and can go a lot of places, unlike a bigger camera. What you're going to sacrifice is audio quality, image quality to a certain extent. So, but it's a compromise. It's little. There's no external way to monitor audio. There's no external way to add audio, so you can't put a mic in or anything like that. So it really is whatever you get. When I've used them in the cases, it's very what you would think, like a muffled underwater in a case type sound. So if you were going to do voiceover later, or maybe you were paddling somewhere or doing something and it's rainy out or misty out, great, it's in here, and now you're just going to, later on, when you get back home or back post, you're going to add the audio or talk about what you're doing. That's fine, Or you could go do stills out in the rain. You could do, just take still shots while paddling around or while walking around or whatever the case might be.
In that external battery drive,
Excuse me?
the external battery drive, if you have one, you put it in.
Oh, you mean
For continued.
for continued, yes. So you have the USB charging cable, and you would just put the one end, instead of putting it into the wall thing, you would put it into your battery bank, and the other end would go right into the camera. Yep, that would work that way. Be the same as putting it in your car or the wall or anything. It doesn't mind what's powering it. And you guys all know how to use the Monopod. Just make sure the mount's on there and it goes right on. And counterclockwise, clockwise to find your...
It's quite a weapon.
It is a little bit of a...
I've got one of
A little bit
those.
of club.
Cyclone whip.
And,
Any
yeah.
magic camera on it, though?
I used to do a lot of camera work in the Bronx.
You're right.
Do you want to pass,
And it
does
was
anyone want to
dangerous.
see the camera, pass it around and kind of play with it?
Yep, I had done that, and you're
There's
welcome
two
to
if
do
you
it.
want to.
Yep, you're welcome to come on.
Otherwise, thank you, John.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
Tell me, John, that we can